Welcome back, everyone, to the Beep Dive. You know the grill. You give us the fascinating material, and we'll help you pull out the most insightful bits. Today, we're going deep into Chapter 9,
Oh, yeah.
Gratitude, from the book, A Practical EmPath, Rewire Your Mind,
Yes.
by Scott Howard Swain.
This is a good one. Yeah, this chapter really dives into this interesting link between, well, practicing empathy, both for yourself and for others,
Yeah.
and how that can actually lead to, well, feeling more grateful.
Yeah, that's right. And it all kind of revolves around Swain's system
Right.
called P.E.P, Practical Empathy Practice.
Yes.
So I'm really excited to see how this all plays out. Are you ready to kind of unlock the power of gratitude through empathy?
Absolutely. I think one of the most interesting things about this chapter is how it really changes our perspective.
Okay.
Swain has this quote that really stood out to me. He says, "Gratitude transforms perspective. By embracing appreciation for the present moment and the people around us, we unlock the power of positivity and find beauty even in life's challenges."
Oh, that's a good one. I can already see how just like shifting your thinking, right, from focusing on what we lack
Right.
to what we already have to
Exactly.
be so powerful. It's like, that time I was super stressed about a deadline at work.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just stopped for a second. I was like, wait, I actually enjoy this job. It totally changed my whole mood.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Swain's getting at with what he calls the virtuous spiral.
Okay.
You start with self-empathy,
Okay.
then you move to empathy for others, and ultimately that leads to greater gratitude. It's like climbing a spiral staircase.
I like that.
With each step, you gain a wider view and a deeper sense of appreciation.
I love that analogy. Okay, so tell me more about this P.E.P. How does it actually help us kind of climb those stairs toward gratitude?
Well, Swain, he believed that P.E.P. helps us recognize and validate feelings and needs,
Okay.
both in ourselves and in others.
Right.
And through that understanding,
Okay.
that we can cultivate genuine gratitude. And he actually shares a personal story about how practicing P.E.P. led him to feel grateful.
Yeah.
For even simple things, like the windows in his home.
Wow. Okay.
Or the computer he used to write the book.
That's fascinating. So it's kind of like he's saying we shouldn't force gratitude. We should let it come naturally
Exactly.
through empathy.
Yes.
But how does that actually look in practice? Does he give any specific examples?
He does. He talks about two different types of P.E.P. conversations.
Okay.
Semi-clinical and street.
Okay.
So imagine you're feeling overwhelmed with a project at work.
Yeah, for sure.
A semi-clinical conversation with yourself might involve acknowledging that stress and your need for a break.
Okay.
Maybe even scheduling some downtime. It's like a mindful check-in.
Gotcha. Okay, so what would a street conversation look like in that scenario?
Well, a street conversation that might involve just venting to a trusted friend or a colleague about your frustrations
Okay.
and receiving that validation and support from them. It's less structured,
Okay.
but still just as important for processing your emotions.
Interesting. So whether we're having a deep introspective conversation with ourselves or just chatting with a friend,
Yeah.
the key is to really tune into those feelings and needs. It makes you wonder, how often do we just brush those aside without truly acknowledging them?
Right. And that's where I think we miss opportunities
Yeah.
for growth and connection. Swain suggests that by recognizing and validating those feelings and needs, both our own and those of others,
Right.
we foster understanding and connection,
Okay.
which paves the way for that genuine gratitude. It's like building a bridge to deeper appreciation.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all ties together.
Yeah.
But I'm still curious about how do we actually move from understanding feelings to actually feeling grateful?
Yeah.
What does that leap look like?
That's a great question, and that's where Swain gets really practical. He offers some exercises to help cultivate gratitude. One that I think is great is reflecting on someone who has had a positive impact on your life
Oh, yeah.
and expressing gratitude for them.
Right.
Maybe it's a mentor or a friend or even a stranger who showed you kindness.
I love that. It's so easy to take those positive influences for granted. I'm totally going to try that one. Did he have any other suggestions?
Oh, absolutely. He also talks about appreciating something you might usually take for granted, like your health,
Yeah.
a warm bed, or even your morning coffee.
Right.
It's about shifting your focus to the good that's already present.
That's something I think we could all benefit from. It's so easy to get caught up in the things we're lacking
Yeah.
that we forget to really appreciate all the abundance we already have. We're constantly chasing the next thing. We never just pause and savor what's right in front of us.
Exactly. And that's where the power of gratitude lies. It's not about denying the challenges or pretending everything's perfect, but choosing to focus on the good,
Right.
even when things are difficult. And that shift in perspective can be really liberating.
Okay, I'm totally on board with that. I'm starting to feel more grateful just thinking about it. But I'm also wondering, like, what about those situations where it feels really hard to find gratitude? Like when you're facing a major setback
Oh,
or
yeah.
going through a rough time. Does Swain address that at all?
Yeah, he does in those challenging moments.
Okay.
He suggests focusing on identifying unmet needs
Okay.
and seeking support. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed by a project at work,
Yeah.
instead of just dwelling on the negative,
Right.
you might reach out to a colleague for help
Okay.
or ask your boss for clear expectations.
Interesting. So instead of getting stuck in the negativity, we shift our focus to finding solutions
Exactly.
and seeking support.
Yes, and that act of reaching out and receiving support can foster feelings of gratitude
Right.
for the people who care about us
Yeah.
and for our own strength in asking for help.
That's a good point. We often forget that asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Right.
And it can open the door to like deeper connection and support, which can ultimately lead to greater gratitude.
Absolutely. And speaking of supporting others, Swain encourages us to offer support to those who are struggling
Okay?
and to express gratitude for their resilience.
So it's about like turning outward and recognizing the strength and courage of others,
Yes,
even in the midst of their challenges.
exactly. By acknowledging their resilience, we not only express gratitude, but also inspire hope
Yeah,
and encouragement. It's a beautiful cycle of giving and receiving.
I love that. It's like a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there's always light to be found, both within ourselves and in others.
Right.
And by focusing on that light, we can cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude and connection.
Beautifully said.
Okay, so we've talked about self-empathy, empathy for others, and all these different exercises for cultivating gratitude. I'm starting to see how P.E.P. kind of weaves throughout this whole chapter as like the foundation for gratitude.
Hmm.
But before we, move on, is there anything else about the P.E.P. system we should highlight? Just to make sure we're giving it its due.
You're right. It's important to emphasize that P.E.P., it provides a framework for understanding and connecting with feelings and needs,
Right.
which is really essential for fostering genuine gratitude. It's not just about saying thank you,
Yeah.
but about truly understanding and appreciating the people and experiences that enrich our lives.
That's such a good distinction. It's like the difference between going through the motions and really feeling it in your heart.
Precisely. And Swain encourages his readers to actually experiment with these exercises and see how they impact their own perspective. I think that's a great challenge for our listener as well. What stands out to you from all of this? What are you going to try?
Honestly, I'm inspired to start incorporating more of these gratitude exercises into my daily routine. I love the idea of taking a moment each day to appreciate something I often take for granted.
Yeah.
Like, my morning coffee or my cozy bed. It's such a simple shift,
Yeah.
but I can already see how it could make a big difference. What about you? What resonates most with you?
I'm really drawn to that idea of expressing gratitude to someone who has positively impacted my life.
Right.
It's easy to let those opportunities slip by, but I think it's so important to acknowledge and appreciate the people who make our lives richer.
I couldn't agree more. It's amazing how something as simple as expressing gratitude can have such a profound impact on our well-being and relationships. It's like a ripple effect, spreading positivity and connection outward.
Exactly.
say.
And it's a journey, not
Yeah.
a destination. It's about consistently cultivating gratitude and allowing it to transform our perspective.
Well said. And I think that's a perfect note to transition to our final thoughts on gratitude.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dives into gratitude,
Yeah.
let's just take a minute and summarize the key takeaways from Chapter 9 of
Okay.
A Practical EmPath.
Yeah, let's unpack this. So first we explored how gratitude can completely shift our perspective and boost our well-being.
Yes, exactly. And we dug into Swain's concept of the virtuous spiral,
Right.
that journey from self-empathy to feeling grateful for ourselves and others.
And we also talked about like those practical strategies for cultivating gratitude
Yeah.
through P.E.P. conversations and exercises, like taking a moment to appreciate things we usually take for granted or expressing our appreciation to someone who's had a positive impact on our lives.
Right. And as we conclude this deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Ooh, I love those. Lay it on me.
Okay, so what is one small thing you feel grateful for right now?
Mm.
And how might expressing that gratitude impact your day?
Ooh, that's a powerful question. It really makes you stop and think about all the good in our lives,
Right.
even when things are hectic.
Exactly. Sometimes just acknowledging and expressing gratitude
Yeah,
can totally change our outlook.
well said. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive. It's been fascinating exploring the power of gratitude with you.
The pleasure was all mine. It's always rewarding to delve into these concepts and see how they can be applied in practical ways.
And to you, dear listener, thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of gratitude. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and are feeling inspired to cultivate more gratitude in your own life. Remember, even the smallest acts of appreciation can have a ripple effect, creating more joy and connection in the world. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those hearts full of gratitude.
All right, so as we kind of wrap up our look at gratitude, let's do a quick recap of the main points
Okay.
from Chapter 9 of Swain's book.
Okay, yeah, let's break it down. So first off, we talked about how gratitude can really shift our outlook
Right.
and be a real boost to our overall well-being.
Yeah, and we explored that whole idea of Swain's virtuous spiral,
Yeah.
going from self-empathy to feeling gratitude for ourselves and others.
We also discussed some practical ways
Right.
to cultivate gratitude, like through P.E.P conversations and exercises, like even just taking a moment to appreciate those things we often overlook,
Mm-hmm.
or, expressing our appreciation to someone who's had a positive impact on our lives.
Absolutely. And, as we wrap up this deep dive, I'd like to leave our listeners with a question, something to think about.
I love a good thought-provoking question. What is it?
So think about this. What's one small thing you feel grateful for right now?
Hmm.
And how do you think expressing that gratitude might change your day?
Wow, that's a great question. I mean, it really makes you stop and consider all the good,
Right.
even when things are, crazy busy.
Exactly. Sometimes just acknowledging and expressing that gratitude,
Yeah.
it can just completely shift your whole outlook.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And with that, I think it's time to bring this deep dive to a close. It's been a fascinating look at the power of gratitude.
I agree. Always enjoy exploring these ideas with you.
And to our listeners, a big thank you for joining us on this journey into gratitude. We hope you found some valuable takeaways and are feeling inspired to cultivate more gratitude in your own lives. Until next time, keep diving deep.